Chief Tom McClusky, Senior Vice President of FRC Action, joins me now to talk specifically about what we need to do to make sure that this fundamental right of religious freedom is not violated. Tom McClusky, welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, we have been working on this all week. I know your team has been working and actually helping members draft this legislation. This is not new. It's been a problem. We saw it back. In fact, you were working with Senator Hatch's staff back in that committee hearing that was referenced several times tonight. And so this has been ongoing. We've seen this. This is one of the things we warned about. Where does the response stand right now, and what do people need to do?
Well, there's a lot they can do, and one of the first things we always ask people to do is pray, because that's one of the things it seems that they want to try to take away from you. So best thing you can do to tick them off, and plus it's a good thing to do, is just pray for everything. And secondly, there are a number of some of the organizations you heard tonight. There's a lot of petitions out there for people to sign. There's a lot of things to do. I know the USCCB, if you go to their website, usccb.org, they have a petition drive, and Bishop Nicholas earlier, and I know it was referenced, all these bishops, except ever since the bishops started speaking out, they're getting tens of thousands more people. But also the Citizens Against Religious Bigotry also has a petition on their website. So sign the CARB petition. I would ask people to do that. Sign every and all petitions.
Now, we're going through several action steps, but this will be up on the website even after the webcast, so you can go back and
right.
get this. So I know you're writing fast and furiously there. Fast and Furious, that sounds familiar. We won't go there. This is on
That's
healthcare.
a different webcast.
That's a different scandal.
Yes.
What is the status of the legislation? We've talked about two bills. One in the House is the Jeff Fortenberry bill. That measure, where does that stand, and what is the timing of some action?
Well, we actually saw, I tried to post on the Cloakroom blog, FRC Action's blog, earlier today about 6 o'clock where everything stands, and it still is constantly shifting. For some members of Congress, they've been fighting this for a while. You have about 168 members who are on Jeff Fortenberry's bill, including a number of Democrats, and including Congresswoman Ann Marie Burkle. But for some in Congress, this is almost a new issue to them as they're talking about it. The legislation we're pushing is Jeff Fortenberry's bill, and what his bill does, it's currently most likely going to be pushed in committee in Energy and Commerce, except it should be pushed quickly. The companion bill in the Senate, though, actually saw action today. Senator Blunt tried to get it onto the floor to get a vote. And Harry Reid, amazingly, Senator Blunt tried to attach it to the highway bill. And Senator Majority Leader Reid went down to the floor and said, here we are trying to pass this big bill, highway bill, to build our roads. And you guys want to talk about the Constitution and the First Amendment. You know, those silly little things that founded this country.
That happened to get in the way.
Right. It's... One thing to do right now is when you call your senators, is to make sure that Senator Reid allows a vote on the highway bill of this piece of legislation. Then it would go back to the House, and the House would be able to vote on the same legislation.
And that's Roy Blunt, the Respect for Rights of Conscience Act. Let me drill down here we got a few more minutes. Some questions that have come in, a lot of questions. I'm sorry we're not going to get to all of them, but I do encourage you to go to the Cloakroom blog. Tom stays on top of this, and so he'll give you the latest update.
I'll be up all night.
That's right, good. Just make sure you're here in the morning to punch in. If I own a company and object to funding contraceptives with the financial assets of my company, including the morning after pill, why is my constitutional right of freedom of religion not being protected by those who only want to exclude religious organizations from the requirement? I'll let you address it first. Religious organizations are covered, they are mandated under this. It's only churches, we talked about that earlier. But the remedy is for everybody. Right,
and Deirdre McQuaid touched on this before. It's not about institutions, it's about individuals.
Right.
And those are the rights that we're trying to protect.
And the Fortenberry bill and the Blunt bill would do just that.
Right.
Now, there was another question came in, and I know you're not the expert on this, but you have been...
I'm the expert on everything.
All right, well, I'll take your word for it.
Just ask my wife. Don't ask my wife.
Mary, There's concern about the impact that this is having on military chaplains, because we've reported on this, we've talked about this, how the Catholic chaplains were censored in what they could talk about. Is this yet another troubling incident with the chaplains in the military and what they're allowed to preach on and not preach on?
It most definitely is, and I think what's getting lost there, and you had the Archbishop of the military, who, along with 178 of his colleagues in the leadership of the Catholic Church, put out letters, and he wanted his letter read from the pulpit. And that's where things went wrong, is that it was stopped from being read at the pulpit. Already, the head of that diocese, the military archdiocese, was told, no, your orders will not be obeyed. And that's where the religious liberty rights of the Catholic Church were violated under the military, and it will happen to every other denomination as well.
And it'll happen on other issues
Exactly.
as well. We're just about out of time. We're going to wrapping up in just a moment, but I do want to get to this question because I think it's an important question. Would this issue be addressed in the current Obama health care case that the Supreme Court will decide on? I want you to put on your attorney hat right now, even though you don't have one, and answer that question. If Obamacare is kicked out altogether, this particular concern, what happens?
Well, okay. Well, first I'm going to have to bill you $500 an hour for this answer. Except if the Obamacare gets thrown out by the courts, and even if, thanks to our wonderful case that we filed, if the whole thing got thrown out, this mandate would still be separate. You would still need legislation that would protect the conscience rights of these individuals. And to be perfectly honest, even without Obamacare, these are good bills to protect people's conscience rights and to stop maybe future President Obama's in trying to pass similar legislation.
Well, even with Obamacare, if it goes away, you still have Medicaid and other forms of government health care that could mandate these provisions as well. Again, I want to encourage you to go to the website, frcaction.org. You can follow the links, and there you will see the action steps that you need to take. But I do want to encourage you to contact your member of the House and your two senators and encourage them to sign on to Roy Blunt's bill in the Senate and Jeff Fortenberry's bill in the House. Tom, thanks so much for joining us, and appreciate all the hard work and the information that you and your team take care of on Capitol Hill.
Well, thanks. You're a good man to work for.